Underneath, according to this, it says it's the historical untold story of Lady Fatima or Fatima.
I'm sorry for butchering it.
Yeah, not sure. But let's go ahead. Here we go.
The world is in shock as a group of terrorists has taken control of large areas of Syria and Iraq.
The world can be a cruel and dangerous place. Remember, even if you're afraid, be strong. Your loving mother, Fatima.
Did your mother ever tell you the story of the Lady of Heaven?
She was very special.
Daughter to the Prophet Muhammad.
My time is near. And afterward, my lovely Fatima, you will face many trials.
With my father no longer here to lead us, evil is with those who will extinguish the light of truth.
You're gonna let a woman tell us what to do. We'll burn her out.
God will judge all of you.
This world has become a breeding ground of violence. Shadow will be cast across many generations to come.
It said some people are so full of faith. They give strength to everyone around them.
The greatest thing in this life and the hereafter is the spreading of peace in the world.
Lady Fatima's goodness inspired people to stand up, no matter what the cost. Her legacy lives on.
So, I was partially right. She is a lady...
She's not from heaven, though. She's a human being.
She is a human being.
So, a couple things here. It looks like, so I got from the trailer that this is the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad...
I remember that. My history teacher taught me that in 7th grade. And I heard about the story of... I heard of a girl named Fatima, and I'm like,
okay.
Huh.
See, now, I don't know the story very well at all. I of course, know the Prophet Muhammad is the lead prophet of the Muslim religion.
He was supposed to be a messenger?
Yeah.
Yes.
Prophet is a term that means messenger from God.
Okay.
So the Prophet Muhammad, whereas Christianity has Jesus as its main prophet, who of course is also part of God. The Jewish faith has a couple other prophets that existed before Jesus, and then for the Muslim religion or Islam, it is the Prophet Muhammad. Mm-hmm. So, interesting thing here to show. There's a lot of duality to the whole thing, which I find fascinating. So it's a story of a female hero in a world that is very much known to be ruled by men. We actually even heard characters in the movie talking about, why would you listen to a woman as they get ready to burn down her house? It's amazing to think that there is such a strong female character at the heart of all that. I mean, it's something I don't think I knew and that I wouldn't ever have guessed. So really interesting that they have that aspect to this story. The other thing that I thought was a little bit weird was at one point they talked about the greatest blessing is the spreading of peace, which is an awesome thing. And I've heard that about Islam, is that it's actually a very peaceful religion, even though many of the people currently practicing it are in places that are constantly engaged in war and fighting. It's an interesting thing. But then even within the movie, it feels like, and I don't know if they were the good guys or the bad guys, but it feels like it showed what I assumed were good guys, like engaging in war and fighting and battles and stuff. I wonder how they rationalize those two things together. Just so much that, you know, if it's really about peace, you know, why are you killing folks?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've always thought there's a hypocrisy there at the center of Christianity also, who also is a religion that is constantly speaking of peace, and yet constantly, you know, the people that thump the Bible the hardest seem to own a lot of guns.
Yes.
So yeah, it's hard. That's really hard.
It really is beautiful, though. I am really happy it talks about history and stuff like that. And
a piece of history that it seems like so far, most of us, I consider us fairly mainstream in terms of popular culture and what we see, and you know, we've missed this. We've missed this story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part is awesome. Love that. Love the new representation. I love unearthing stories like this. A buddy of mine who's Indian, who's specifically Punjab, told me a story about. He was like, if you think the 300 is amazing, you got to hear the story about this thing where it was like a dozen soldiers held off like 15,000. It was insane. And I saw just last year or the year before, they made a movie about it. It looked ridiculous. So yeah, it's
the one scene I love about this is that all of the angels were together, and I'm like, this is beautiful.
That was interesting. Yeah.
I was like, I want to see this now because it's just full of angels and it's beautiful.
But I love this idea of like taking these, that there are stories within history.
Yeah.
That, you know, probably because there's such a ethnocentric view of Hollywood when they look at history, that they're only looking at, you know, Anglo-Saxon history. There's tons of amazing stories coming from other cultures that we just need to find them and make movies out of them, and make them accessible to, you know, those of us that maybe aren't reading books so much. So, yeah.
And by the way, that is me.
That's me too.
I don't read that many books.
Lately, it's just biographies. That's all I like to read. So, anyway, this was awesome. Thank you so much for making us watch this. I'm blanking on the name of the guy who asked us now. I should look that up real quick.
Yeah, that's just really rude.
That is rude. I'm a rude person.
We are so sorry, whoever wrote the comment.
I'm gonna look it up while we're talking here and see if I can find it. But yeah, thank you so much for asking us to watch this.
Copyright claim. Dang it. Dang it, copyright. Come on, man.
Man, come on. Okay.
Oh.
Man of a Goodwill.
Man of Goodwill. Thank you for.
Thank you, Man of a Goodwill, for having us watch this.
Yeah.
We have watched it, and it was interesting. This is really cool.
It really is.
And I think both of us now are. I mean, this is a movie that probably was going to not hit our radar, and it's on the radar now. This is something we're definitely going to be looking for. So, thank you so much,
Thank you.
We'll check it out when we see it. So, for now.